Would you call yourself a feminist or a misandrist?
Oh, why can't I be both?
Like, isn't misandry extreme feminism? Is there a difference?
Yeah, feminism is wanting women to be treated the same as men. Misandry is wanting men to be treated like women are being treated right now. Hi, we are
NoonaTalk.
I'm Zara, and this week affirms my misandry.
I'm Sophia, and this week, if you hate men,
Well, you're winning.
you should check out this episode.
Yeah, and also like and give us a subscribe while you're at it. We are NoonaTalk, a podcast where we talk about K-pop, K-drama, K-culture, K-beauty, everything that you need to know, especially if you're a Desi stan. But even if you're not, we welcome you anyway. We are here on YouTube where you can watch our videos, but we're also on all podcasting platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, especially if you're one of our many Spotify followers. Hi! Please go follow if you all haven't already. You can also leave us a review. Leave 5 stars. Woo! I feel like an Uber driver saying that.
Madam 5-star review. But yeah, you can follow our Instagram account where we post fun content, talking about music, dramas, things we're up to, what we're eating, food reviews, whatever.
Today we're doing a K-drama or K-flop, which is one of many of our series. So go check it out. There is a playlist on the channel where we watch the first episode of many popular TV shows, K-dramas, and decide whether it's worth watching. So it's a K-drama or not a K-flop. What are we watching this week?
Love to Hate You. This is a new K-drama on Netflix, and
just by the title, it's giving like early 2000s, like
it's giving
10
enemies
things
to
I
lovers.
hate.
Yeah.
10 things I hate about you type of songs.
That's true. So let's read the synopsis. For an attorney who despises losing to men and an A-list actor who distrusts women, love means nothing. That is until they're forced to date each other. Okay. Oh, the literal meaning of this show in Korean is love battle.
There was if you existed during the time, there was a movie called Jhoom Barabar Jhoom, in which there is this exact love battle thing between an attorney and a client. And it's called the Kiss of Love. Stay away from the kiss of love. What do you mean they're forced to date?
Fake relationship hoga kuch. Like, dying grandfather is like, I want to see the both of you together to get my inheritance or something like that.
Okay, let's go check it out.
그동안 난 못 봤거든, 백 같은 여자.
이제 가불 관계도 없고 애인 노릇을 하라니 자신감 있게 해보려고.
We're back.
Yeah, we are, and
I feel like we still didn't find out why they're forced to date each other.
I feel like they were plot setting quite a bit,
and a lot of plots were being a lot of plots.
So we made our main female lead, who seems to be a fairly
she hates
violent
men.
Okay. Yes, she hates men. Straight off the bat, love her for that. 10 out of 10.
She hates men. She is a promiscuous.
Yes, she's very sex friendly. She's very violent, where like we literally, the first time we actually see her and interact with her, she is beating someone.
Yeah, she's also a lawyer.
So she and her male friend have a firm together where they're both attorneys, but she comes from like a family where they didn't really trust her and think that she'd make it.
That's true. And she has a not so great relationship with her father, and the mother's like kind of trying to keep things together, and she's living with her parents, and finally she's reached a point in her career where she returns them all the money that they paid for her education, and now she's moving out and living on her own. Ooh, you go, girl.
And eventually we find out that she and her male colleague, who potentially was also going to move in.
One of the roommates
has had a girlfriend for several years and has
been lying to the girlfriend. Yeah. Basically, he is the kind of man that she despises. So he ends up not moving in with her and her other friend.
And also she's then out of a job, and which puts a lot of stress in terms of like rent payments and all of these things, which is why she's on the hunt for a new job, which brings us to our main male character, who is a famous actor who's like polite.
He's known manner hands.
He's king of kissing,
something like that.
Yeah, romance, I don't know, something. So it's him and his friend,
manager friend, sidekick.
Is that what the kids are calling it now? Because like, how is the love story not between the two of them? And
who's also beautiful, like hella
stunning. He's more stunning than the actual actor.
That's true. And everyone's like head over heels over the friend as well. But apparently he couldn't make it as an actor. That's a side story.
So he interacts with a very young actress, and that goes badly, and she basically drops out of the film, and he's ranting about her, saying that, oh, you know, she's only here to increase her value in society so that she's perceived as a hotter commodity. And our main protagonist, who's the lawyer, hears him saying this and registers him as a misogynist in her head, which is, I think, very interesting, because what he's saying, just personally, I just didn't, like, obviously I had the context to it, but just based on context, I was like, that's a fair assumption to make. And she then turns on him.
Yeah, and she hits him, and then she goes for a job interview for a lawyer in a lawyer firm which only employs men. I don't know what it is. But they only have men.
Choose to do that. It's just happened that way.
Sure. That's what they call it.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, that is exactly how misogyny works.
Yeah.
So it's a law firm full of men where our main lead actor is also a client, and another very famous Korean actress is doing her
divorce attorney, and she's looking for a lawyer, but she gets frustrated talking to men, so she like demands that she gets a female lawyer, and then she says she will sit in the interviews for female lawyers, and coincidentally our protagonist is the only female lawyer
in the interview lineup. Yeah.
So we're assuming she gets chosen, but we haven't reached that.
Yeah, and they are building up to like a bickering relationship between our two leads, because we end at a point where she trips him.
Yeah.
Just out of spite.
She's like man.
Yeah. And she's sitting around people. She just gets angry and then trips him. So, okay, let's start off with pros and cons. So what's a pro for you?
I found a lot of pros in here. I think starting with the theme. I think theme is not only just very relevant to us as women, but also Korea. If you follow Korean news even to the slightest amount, they have a huge issue with misandry, misogyny, feminists, how feminists are pursued. There's a lot going on, like to the extent where, remember Soyun, Soyun, the artist musician from Sesonyeon. So she talked about the anthrome thing, and she was like, oh, every man is capable of doing something like this, which was a very anti-men statement, which like they have a huge men's right activism community. And then when Sesonyeon were booked for a college festival, the people in the college, the dudes in the college, were against it because they're like, we don't want our fees to go to a misandrist. So it's just like little things like this build up to a lot, and it is a huge problem there. And as women living in India, men's right activism is a huge thing. We are also one of the worst. We are the worst country in terms of women's safety.
Yeah, no, I always say this. I always say that the Indus Valley civilization is what set up like patriarchy in society. Like that's how much of the bedrock we are of it.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like I did really enjoy the theme. That's not something
and it's putting it to a very forefront, and not it's not like a throwaway mention. It is the core of the protagonist's personality. I'm curious about where it goes, but I'll tell you what, the way they showed misogyny makes me think it'll be a positive resolution, because they don't show they also show misogyny in the bad state that it is, and not as a hair or like it's fine. So
true. And it comes off in the microaggressions that we all experience, where like when the lawyers are discussing about the fact that they don't hire women, it's all about like, oh, you know, they ask for period leave and they're so emotional, and these sort of things that we've all heard.
And they even bring up like netizen comments and like something where it's like, oh, why don't women go to the military? And then things like stupid shit like, if you want equality, men should be able to beat women up. And it's like, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
That's literally the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that thematically I was really here for it. Plot wise, you're right. I am afraid of where it's going to go, because is this one going to be one of those where they like not beat, but like beat the misandry out of her to like make her fall in love with the main character,
or maybe the main character guy has like a huge, maybe he's not an actual misogynist.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't feel like a misogynist so far, but I don't know, like based on the first episode, like I'm just a little afraid of
where it will go.
are they attempting to normalize her? Is what I mean.
Who knows? But yeah, what is a pro for you?
A pro for me was that the writing was so far strong. Like I feel like at no point, I mean, there were like elements where I was bored, but that was just more to do with me personally not being able to engage throughout, not necessarily them failing as writers. I think that was a good showcase of like every scene had proper dialogues. It was a setup. You had like things going on. Yeah, absolutely. And it was very clearly sketched out.
That's true. I don't know if it's a pro or a con, because for me it was somewhere in the middle, where clearly there are a lot of characters and they're establishing. There is a core storyline, but every individual character has their own storylines, and the first episode obviously has to take its time to establish those things. So there were a lot of things going on. Like I could not keep up with the characters. I guess this is a con. I couldn't keep up with what was happening. I think with the female protagonist, I could keep up to a certain extent, but then the male protagonist happened. Then the law firm was the third one. Then the female protagonists also had like different things. But there's a thug she's friends with.
Oh yeah.
काफी सारी plot lines they were trying to establish in
one go.
In one go, which I'm sure if you keep watching, it would all make sense. But just based on the first episode, it was like so many things happening. But like you said, it was written strongly, so I didn't feel like disconnected. It did keep me engaged. A con for you?
The acting was subpar. I think overall, like just the friend was a very, like, it was all very stereotypical, and what like whatever the narrative had, you had to do. Like the friend is like frustrated with this, so she keeps going and then she's angry at when, so she's like, it was just very, very stereotype. And I don't know, it could have been on purpose. That could have been the direction that they were going for.
How did you feel about the queer Betty segment with the male protagonist and the second lead?
I'm here for it. I feel like more, I mean, on such a platform, let's like make it normal. And the way that they dealt with it also.
It wasn't a EU thing.
It wasn't a EU thing. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't anything. It was just something
them
happened.
Practicing lines, and then.
Yeah, they're running lines. They accidentally kiss each other and they're like, okay. And then it just goes on to the next scene. And that's kind of it. That's the kind of normalization that I require from society. So that was a great step towards it. And like, again, why aren't they the main couple?
I would be here for it. I also kind of liked the theme of independence. Like she's also like a young woman who's working and now stepping onto her own 2 feet, moving out of her parents' house and all of those things. So I think that was nice and relatable to a lot of people, and maybe inspiring for a lot of people.
This is a con that I say in almost every show, every time. The music was bad. The music is just so off-putting because it really throws you off, and it's not what the score is supposed to do. It's supposed to aid in the storytelling and what is happening, especially the last several K-dramas we've watched. So if you go back and watch our episodes, you will know that this is a common recurring issue where it's so discorded that it just like takes you out instead of pushing you further into story. And this was another bad example. Yeah, it's just like, why?
Yeah, like if there's a serious scene going on, don't put comedy music.
Yeah.
Don't put random sounds. Like it's just like forced comedy. It's like how old shows had canned laughter where we're not like, we don't want to laugh. The joke wasn't funny and you're telling us to laugh. Like it's very old school, and it's not adding, like you said, it's not enhancing a viewer experience. It's kind of taking away from it. Like don't tell me how to feel. Explain or like create the environment.
Let it speak for itself, I guess.
And also another thing, a pro or whatever, something that intrigued me about the show was I felt like while the characters were kind of tropey, there were a lot of characters instead of just the focal point being the main couple. Yeah. So I think there is scope for like the parents' character, the side characters, the third or fifth or random men in her life.
Oh my god, are the best friends going to end up together?
Who knows?
I'd be here for that because
I liked the guy, and I don't know how I feel about the girl yet.
I liked the girl because she was just like she was giving ditzy best friend.
But yeah, I feel like the scope for like the the movie that's happening, the director. I feel like everybody in the show got like a time to be themselves versus every character being a tool just to push the protagonist's plot forward. So I like that, and I think that kind of makes me curious about where it would go. Genuinely interested to see. I really hope maybe there is like a resolution with the parents maybe at the end where the father's like, oh, I don't even want to visit your house. So I'm guessing that could be something we see.
Which brings me to the all-important question, K-drama or K-flop?
Yeah, it is a K-drama for me. While watching it, while it ended, I was like, oh, I want to watch more because I want to know what happens. Because we've just gotten the establishments of the story. We don't know how they're fake dating yet as well.
I'm confused. Okay, I'm gonna break it down. Okay, are you ready? So fake dating is one of my all-time favorite tropes, which is why I was very interested in watching the show and doing this episode. And that part hasn't played into it yet, but I'm sure that will happen in the future. I really did enjoy the plot. I thought the acting was bad. So I'm at a state of it's a K-drama, but I don't know if I would watch it more. Like I wouldn't not recommend it to people. I would say, hey, it's worth a watch. But I do want to know, like you're right, I do want to know what happens, but I'm happy to just read an article and finish that off instead of having to watch it. Yeah.
It's a K-drama.
It's a K-drama. Yeah, it's a K-drama with a shrug. Have you seen the show before? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't, would you watch it based on our review?
Let us know, and we'll see you next time. I was Sophia.
I was Sarah.
Bye.